What's up? This is your favorite neighbor, Orange. I thought I'd wake up nice and early and have a fresh approach on what it is I want to say about AI and the soul. So there's multiple factors. For musicians that want to experience what their song could sound like, I think it's a good idea, and then it's a good sort of goal to kind of rehearse and be with a vocal coach and maybe a producer that helps you get there, and use then the original or should I say human beings to actually lay the guided, maybe separated tracks that you could do on Suno Premiere, Suno Studio. So yeah, that's incredible. Another positive thing is it cuts out the pre-production time of laying in your experiences through emotion and creativity. There's a tank for that, sort of a capacity that one could execute those kind of things, and when you do that, you kind of put everything into the pre-production. And then when it comes to production and the second phase to the final phase, it kind of, you can get oversaturated. So yes, there is a positive spin on getting, the prompts into AI and Suno to kind of indicate what direction you would like to go into. Everything is moving so quickly, especially for guys that have been in the music thing for quite a while. There's a generation that's walked into working on laptops and working on computers, and that is pretty cool. But there was a generation way before that, before samples were created. They were the ones who worked it out on a desk in a room with a real snare, before there was Easy Drummer, before there was any of the tools that are available to music creators right now. I think a lot has changed. And for guys that used to cut tape and record on tape back in the day, such as myself, not a lot of, you have to run through the whole thing proper. The drummer had to be prepared, and music sheets, and so there was definitely a standard in my own personal life that happened at a very young age, working in a professional studio with musicians that I was not prepared for, and a life that I was not prepared for. So there's more than to just putting a song on Suno and letting it sound great. And I'm sure it will. I hear down the grapevine that major labels are putting a deal together, so there would be a AI separate platform just for AI. Now, if you're a purist, it could be a problem. So it always gets to the business line of things. If you manage to do a Suno song and you've got your 40-80 million streams and you made your money, good for you. I think maybe you got in at the right time from a business point of view. But I guess from a soul point of view, it takes talent, and talent doesn't just fall out the sky. It takes a gift. There's a creative spirit, a real creative spirit that actually roams this planet before the dawn of time. And to get something that replicates, and if you run with it and replicate it, it could be a problem. But if you use it as a tool, every single artist that one knows, can think of, even your favorite singer of all time, whether it was the Beatles, Elvis, or I'm going to call it out, Michael Bolton, Bon Jovi, Metallica, it doesn't matter. There was one song that broke them. The song broke the artist. And a lot of the artists of today don't write their own songs because the industry and the gatekeepers write the songs for them. And what seems like a huge industry is actually tiny. There is a click, and the same click would get behind AI music that doesn't exist. Yes, that music does not really exist. It's like, it doesn't. But music that has a soul will be an experience. So there's two very different things. So my thoughts is going to come to a close to a point where I am going to experiment with the AI and Suno and on a project and see how it comes out, see how I feel about it. It has blown me away. I'm not going to deny it. It has blown me away completely, what it can do, what it can replicate. But I did find something, though, as a music creator, as a guy that works with frequencies and separates and stems and all those sort of things. I was able to separate all the stems on a Suno track. I just called it Song from the Heart. And it had strings, I had a prompt, and so in the process I did realize that I think this will be the new narrative that a lot of artists are not aware of, and the music business is grabbing it before the artists are getting the revelation of this. Your song is no longer going to be the intellectual property. It's everywhere. Even though it has your stamp on, or maybe you have a large percentage on it. You may have copyright and all that, for sure. But then there's a huge problem no one really thought about. The actual prompt that works will become the actual intellectual property, not the final product. That's where a lot of artists are going to fall flat again. So I just would like everyone who is a singer-songwriter who writes their own songs and doesn't get told to write songs. You are your own expression. You are God's fingerprint. No one can tell you how to do your songs. So I thought it was a good time for me to do this before I just end off the year. I've got one or two more things I need to finalize for. Everything has already been set up for for next year. I'm going to be focusing on hymns personally. This whole entire process has taken me back to music with intent and intention. And it's a good way to pivot. I've been doing hymns and it's turning my life upside down, but there's something about real music where it comes from broken people who bear a soul. People that have made mistakes, but who have not taken from other people, whether it's lifetime, money, or gifts. You know, what use is it being a bridge builder if you don't look after your bridge once everybody's crossing on it? Now those kind of people, be careful. They burn the bridge, and everybody you walk on and you deal with and that walks across with you goes down. And they're all going to think that you burnt the bridge. Yeah, I don't mix with people who mix with people like that. I think I've made it quite firm. This is kind of my end of the year little update too. I thought it was important that I speak about AI and synthetic. I'm coming back to the stems that I brought back into my recorded DAW recording program on my laptop. I did a frequency sweep, and there's sound that drops out completely. It's like a nano soundbot that's missing, that hasn't anchored its position in there, so it's missing completely. So I find huge faults. It's kind of like the couch looks beautiful from far. The minute you get close to it and you sit on it and you realize and you feel it's not leather, it's pleather. It's kind of the same thing. If anybody's ever been fooled by buying fake Air Jordans and you thought you had the real deal, it's happened to me once. So I can tell you there's a huge difference between Jordan, fake Jordans, and the real Jordanaires. So I just encourage everyone to be careful. I'm encouraging creators to be careful with AI. Use it carefully as a tool. I've got a good friend who's used it as a tool. And it takes artists their whole lifetime to break one song. And the rest of the catalog becomes the chapel of what music and followers and subscribers or fans end up following, the audience. So yeah, I thought that would be my 5 cents about AI and Suno and all that. But yeah, I think if you're careful with it and you use it as a tool and revamp some tunes and then put your own personal gifting on it, play the instruments, get your friends to play on it, but be careful with using synthetic sounds. It's it's like a hit of something. It's a couple of seconds, but it's not an event that you will remember for your lifetime, like your favorite song that got you into this business in the first place. So, P.S. I am motivated. I know I've put out a message that I wanted to give up. One does feel those things, especially in these times. I'm getting close to the big 5-0. Life's changed. My knees hurt. I got them Danny Glover knees now. Sure. But guys, thank you for listening and supporting my music. It's been real. So next year will be a beautiful year. I'm working on a collaboration project with 2 beautiful people that I hope we can expand on. Do some worship conferences in Cape Town, Table View, and do a couple of shows there. Maybe at some point do a soundtrack of our lives, you know. I don't mind leaving out my catalog. I'll put maybe 2 or 3 songs of my own in, but I love doing covers, so I'm considering a lot of things at the moment. But definitely hymns is something I'm going to be focusing on next year. And writing this book, 47 and in between. That record is out right now. And I hope you guys enjoy this beautiful upcoming season. If you have people that are close to you, stay close to them. And love them. This is your favorite neighborhood Orange, and I'm here to talk about part 2 about my thoughts on AI, Suno, etc., etc. 2 points that I touched on part 1, I'm going to expand on. The one is talent. And talent is something that is honed. A lot of experiences go inside of the process of talent discovery. Working towards one's own craft, whether it be playing the guitar, any instrument. I mention guitar because it's my instrument of strength as a singer-songwriter. Talent is something that someone spends time on, spends time developing. It takes a long time to put, talent and then go in front of a stage and perform it. What people in the audience don't really understand is that when one writes a song and it's in one's privacy and moment of vulnerability, we then have to expose ourselves by getting on stage and doing it as well. People that have ego don't have a problem. They rely on ego, and good for them. But ego can only get you so far. It comes from the soul. Once again, how one nurtures your talent. Do you take the easy way, this way or that way, or do you actually work at your talent, take the time, build those calluses, build thick skin, know when to tell the difference between constructive and destructive criticism. Both could be very good. Talent is not a gift. Gift is something that's entirely different. A gift is something that most people are exactly what the word is gifted with, and most of them find joy in doing it. A lot of gifts are not in the sort of construct of business and currency just because it falls under the term artistry. And people think that being an artist, you need to say, yes, sir, no, sir. Now, being an artist is groundbreaking. It cuts a brand new road in what it is we call this musical landscape. It's inhabited by the audience and it's inhabited by the creators. So what we do with our gifts is completely up to us. How we nurture our gifts is completely up to us. To improve on our gifting, to include discipline and to add to the talent, that's a whole other conversation a lot of artists are not prepared to have. A lot of artists don't like to be told what to do. A lot of artists don't have patience with their creators. A lot of artists have a one-track mind. And unfortunately, it's their call. You know, whether it's constructive or destructive. It's got nothing to do. The attachment to people that I've met along the way in my journey. I've met some incredibly talented people. But as some discussions I've had with my peers in the industry, the mistake I did was locking in with people with amazing talent but no consistency. Not even with a good conversation. Can't keep a straight line. Every time when something big needs to happen, it crumbles. Never mind the team is trying to hold the thing up. Now that kind of artists, that kind of inconsistencies, I speak from experience because I was one of them. I couldn't hide behind my faults and flaws anymore. I kind of had to own up and start creating a bridge to rebuild what I could. And what was burnt is burnt. So one has to get to a place where, as an artist, talented or gifted, you need to really, really do a bit of soul search and find out what it is you really want to do. Do you want to play it for your audience? Or, I mean, I come from quite a funky background, or I'm using myself as an experience. I've got a lot of music that I'll never play live because they were trauma sessions. I call them trauma sessions. Trauma sessions, angry sessions, or whatever they were, but I'll never perform them live. So to be able to come to a place to nurture and look after your talent and the gifts and the songs and all these things takes a long time to appreciate. And not just that, the actual community. Yeah. Some say it takes a town to raise a kid, or a community to raise a kid. Now, here's something that most artists won't like, because none of the artists really like each other's. You know, if they do well out there in social media, they'll see it, but they won't like it. I'm one of the guys that love. I love everybody's stuff. If I can, if I see you come up on my screen, man, and you're doing well, I hit you up, man. I love it. I love supporting other artists. But everybody is very, you know, that's the unfortunate thing. But thank goodness for those that do understand the true behind the scenes collaboration. People that understand the true collaboration, not just on a picture, but on paper. That's a whole different story. That's wonderful. And for those that do collab without any paper and have taken my word for it, well, our relationship still stands for more than 2 decades at least. And it's wonderful to still be chatting to most of you. Coming back to talent and gift. You can't find that in AI. We are the creators. AI are the replicators. And I said once again in the previous video, my part 1 video about this, it's a great tool. It's a fantastic tool. My second point I wanted to expand on is the hit song. Everybody knows about the one-hit wonders and wonder, oh, why they only made one song? Well, I wish they made. Those guys may have seen what it is like in the snake pit in the music business and just said, that's enough, I'm out of here. And others have kind of carried on with it and kind of figured a way how to pivot in that landscape. It's not easy. So I want to talk about something I think is very important. We just spoke about talent, and we spoke about the gift, and then what it takes: time, effort, discipline, that you can't buy on an app, you know what I mean? And the second part I want to expand on is the hit song. Now, I'm going to give you an example, personal example from a music lover, from someone who just loves music and sound. When I was a young man, before I really got exposed to even playing a guitar, I heard the song on radio called Living on a Prayer. But I always got the tail end of it where the key change happened, and I was like, wow, what is this? The melody was just... But back then I didn't know what the nuances and the words were for these things. I was like, what is this? Then I heard Summer of '69. I'm like, what? And then I heard, see, I'm calling out the songs. I'm not really calling out the creators or the artists or the band. I'm calling out the songs. The songs made the artist, and everything after that, they grabbed the audience and they served the audience. But most of these songs will never be outshined by anything else they ever do, because there's one song that breaks you. Now, it's your decision if you want AI to break a song for you, or truly let your soul do the talking. And that all depends if you want to be honest with yourself. A lot of people are making AI music in various genres, and in South Africa specifically, there's a community that's making a lot of Afrikaans AI music, but they're not even performing it. People are loving it, and as I said in the previous video, the labels are cutting a deal right now to create their own AI platform separate from the organic sounding music that gets made by human beings. The English market is also getting flooded with AI, and there is a threat. There's a threat to the actual person that actually puts their heart on the line, puts their soul on the line, puts their experiences on the line, puts their lifetime experiences, what they have in the craft that they've honed, on the line. Because I think now the artist has to become the content creator. That's had to happen for a while now, but the artist is the content creator, the artist is the label, the artist is the brand. People need to come to you if they want your stuff, to know where to find you. That's where it's at now. AI can only get you so far. But remember that we're showing and we're teaching AI exactly everything that all of us know, and we're prompting it. And as I said, your song is not going to be the IP anymore. It's going to be the actual prompt. And us artists need to catch a wake up very quickly and stand our ground when it comes to that. Somebody that gets a gig because of the AI song over someone that has been working hard and put their soul on the line, yeah, I think in every aspect of our society we're going to find capitalistic options and opportunities. And in my previous video I congratulated people that tapped into the AI now and got their 80 million or 40 million or how many thousands of streams or something that could pay out some money. Good on you. Hey, it's your favorite neighbor Orange, and this is my part 3 about AI music and Suno and those sort of things. I'm going to tell a story. I'm not going to mention any names. Nobody wants, discomfort or disruptions in one's consistent but proven proof of concept workflow. So, having said that, there was once a business partner of mine who wanted to charge a recording artist, note, one of someone who knows what, a little bit of music and industry situations work and operate. And this business partner charged this person 3,500 Rand for artwork that was produced on ChatGPT or AI. There's nothing wrong with using amazing tools. Please, I reiterate, some people get my videos wrong. Sometimes my communication, I don't know how to make it more clear than what it is. But charging 3,500 Rand for AI artwork and charging people for AI produced music when these artists could do it like on their phone by themselves. I believe music services is a very delicate industry. If one needs to apply to go to the United States of America, you basically fall, as a sound engineer or an artist, you fall under a category that is exactly the same as a pilot, an engineer, not just a waitron, with no disrespect to the service industry whatsoever. Based on the fact I'm trying to make around the music business, not music business, and services thereof of music creators, one shouldn't take advantage of artists with the lack of experience, with the promises of fame and fortune. That is, I call the deal with the devil, which appeals to one's ego. And it depends, man. Some people love that ego. They love it. And they'll fall for it. They run with it. And my point is, if you want to be in the music business, there are ethical ways of doing things without selling a leather couch and it's pleather, and when you get a comeback, you're trying to convince the client that it's leather. Exact same man. So I'm speaking, I'm not trying to attack anyone that's using these services. It's how people are using it that it's really becoming quite questionable. And as a music creator, on that point, yes, it does take work away from us, or people like us in our field of work, music engineers, singer-songwriters. There is a synthetic approach to music, and then there's a wholesome, puristic way of approaching something. You're either going to eat 3D meat, or you're going to eat the real deal, or you're going to have fake vegetables, or you're going to have a decent, wonderful. I think I've made my point. In the concept and closing, I believe that if one is going to use AI, I'm going to see if I can comprise the 3 little videos I've made about this. If one can actually utilize this particular tool as a pre-production process without losing one's creative tank, because there's only so much someone can push out. Not everybody has the same capacity, and other people use assistance. Other people use other methods. Some people go really left and really right in methods how they make music. But I'm talking about the soul. I'm talking about the soul. And this has got nothing to do with a religious point of view, or it's got to do with where it comes from. Why create something that replicates when you are the creator? And if you are tired, have a break, which I'm going to do. I've spent most of my life pouring into other people's lives, fulfilling their dreams, finishing their records, fighting for their records, holding their reputation. And if that doesn't get seen by the artists or people that I've been involved with, and thank goodness my track record speaks for itself. So I sleep well at night. I've taken from no one, and I haven't made money ever from ever making any music that came out of here, so that I could expose them or give them a little good swing at their career that they may have never had before. And if there's a winning team, why leave the winning team? Why abandon the winning team? I don't do trauma sessions for artists anymore. They need to go through their own stuff and figure it out the way all of us on this planet need to do. And I still have a passion for what I do, but I'm going to be very careful in where I place my pearls. I do not want to put my pearls or throat to swine. I think I'm done with that now. I appreciate everybody that still works with me and still handles some of my human errors and inconsistencies. But I think at the end of the day, it's always been about relationship. I've always enjoyed the company of the people that I've produced and worked with. That's something AI can't do. The window's open now, and then one day that window closes for everyone. So I would personally, as an artist, would love to be remembered for the music that came from my soul. And I'm open. Yeah, I've asked Suno and AI for assistance. I've used it myself, but I've used it in fair use, not as the foundation of anything and releasing it. I can perform my own music. It may not be perfect every time, but I can definitely perform my own music live. So that is my thoughts, and I hope that this starts a good conversation. I'm going to be looking at opening up a podcast situation next year. I've always wanted to discuss and talk with some of my favorite people that I've worked with, and that I've trusted myself with them for songwriting opportunities, because songwriting opportunities is a spiritual thing. It's wonderful. Collaborations and things like that. And yes, so God bless and take care of yourselves, and keep making the music.